Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, the best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey, folks. Welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE, AEW, and NXT recaps, reviews, and pay-per-view predictions. Like always, it's Kyle here, joined today, the AJ Styles of podcast, and Sebastian. What's going on, bud?
Not much, man. Just got back from, Full Sail, ready to record a podcast.
Spoilers for NXT, man. Oh, my God. I saw that, dude. I cannot wait to watch after we shoot the show. You guys, listen, man, we are a pro wrestling podcast. You can always find us on Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play Music, and iTunes. And, of course, we're on YouTube. Make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Help us get 100 subscribers and get that custom URL. Man. We're here to talk to you today about AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, hailing from my neck of the woods, Charlotte, North Carolina. Boy, I am bummed, Sebastian. I did not get to go to this effing show, dude. Oh, my goodness.
I understand, man. Last week I was in Charleston. That's about 2 hours away from me, and I wasn't able to make the trip. So.
Real? Oh, so they were closer to you than they were to me then in Charleston, because Charlotte's like 3 hours from me.
Yeah, but I couldn't make the trip, unfortunately, so I understand.
Dang, man. We're gonna have to try and do something. You and I aren't too far away. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't think that we're actually that far away from each other, even though we live in different states. I don't think so. We're in similar necks of the woods. Everybody else is in the northeastern. You got Rob and Vince, Kevin. They're all like right around each other. It's you and me down here, man.
Kevin's in New York, right?
Yeah, Kevin's in New York. Rob is in Detroit.
And Vince is in Chicago.
And Vince is in Chicago. Yeah. I honestly, I'm telling you, I'm terrible with geography. I just assume those states are all like hugging each other. They probably aren't. I mean, I know that.
Detroit,
huh?
Detroit and Chicago is pretty close. But
okay. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I know Chicago is an hour behind us, so I know that's a little bit more west, but hell if I know. I'm terrible, man. Hit us up on Twitter at the SmackDrawPod, myself at the Kai Tai Show, and of course you can find Sebastian at the accurately named WrestlingFan_32. Where'd you get 32 from?
I can't remember. I wanted 35, I think, but I think it was taken.
So did you just start at 1? Just go up? 2, 3, all taken?
No, after 35, I was probably like, I want an even number because I'm weird like that. But 35 was my jersey number in basketball. So
okay.
That's the exception.
32. God, I'm trying to think. So there was no significance, huh? Not like March 2nd, like a birthday or...
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, man, Wrestling Fan _32, man, is where you're going to find Sebastian. Oh, man. Seb, listen, man. Dynamite, Charlotte, North Carolina. In a nutshell, what did you think?
They wasn't quite full gear to me. Pun intended. But it was a good show.
It was a go-home. It wasn't until the main... Or no. Well, I guess they didn't really wait too long because it really did. It did dawn on me during Cody's promo, which that was only the second segment of the night, that it was the go-home show for their Full Gear pay-per-view this Saturday.
Their first go-home show in company history. So.
It is, right? Because their last pay-per-view, All Out? All In? No, All Out, right? Was the last one.
Yep.
That was prior to the TV debut, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It really was. Yeah, damn, this is their first go-home show. Do you know where the term go-home show came from? Like what its significance is?
Not really. I always know, like, when a match is a match is bad and I want it to end, I'm always like, take it home. So I have a fear.
No. So I learned this about 2 years ago. I learned this as my first attempt to get a podcast going. Go home show means So typically after like Raw and SmackDown tapings on the WWE end of things, you still have like house shows and everything that they got to do throughout the week. But on pay-per-view weeks, the Raw and SmackDown, once those wrestlers are done shooting those two shows, which granted were Monday, Tuesdays, they got to go home. They didn't have any house shows. They got to rest up leading to the pay-per-view because, you know, it was indicated that they would give bigger matches, more demanding matches. And so they got time to rest up to go to those pay-per-views. So hence the go home name there. This is the last show they have to do. They get to go home until the pay-per-view. Hence the go home show.
It's like that now. SmackDown's got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, don't they? they get all of 24 hours. Go home, rest up, SmackDown. Poor guys. That's why. I guess, you know, when Rob went to the SmackDown Go Home show, there was no wrestling, as they were resting up for the pay per view. Totally makes sense.
Well, that was on Tuesday at that time.
Was it? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Oh, damn. I tried, Rob. Sorry, man. The show opened with Pac taking on best friend Trent with Chucky and Orange Cassidy at ringside. So apparently Orange Cassidy is a full-time member of the Best Friends now, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just glad they got Super Kit.
They got what?
They got Super Kit. I like that.
Hell yeah. This match was pretty good. I mean, any match you put Pac in is going to be good. Trent was overwhelmed. At one point during the match, Orange Cassidy got in the ring. Did you notice that, like, Chucky had to literally, like, grab the ref to get the ref to be distracted so Cassidy could hit those weak leg kicks? To not
at least
DQ'd.
we're finally doing that now.
He did.
At least we're trying to act like we're having rules.
Yeah, he did though.
So,
man, he grabbed. They oversold the hell out of that, trying to distract the ref while Orange Cassidy was doing his shtick. Of course, doing it against Pac, I would never recommend. Cassidy got pump kicked in the face for his trouble. Pretty much from there on out, Pac owned the rest of the match big time. Poor Trent didn't have a stand a chance against Pac. Ultimately, in the end, Pac hit the Black Arrow. Did you notice the botched 3 count that happened?
yep.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Hey, look, man. It's pro wrestling. It happens.
I know, but I mean, you're as a ref, from what I've always heard, you're told to see it, call it how you see it. If they don't kick out, that's on them.
Speaking on the WWE side of things, I feel like they tell that to the ref for specific matches. So it's not like that. Like, for instance, the Brock Lesnar Undertaker match at WrestleMania 30. The finish to that match was kept so under wraps that they had to go to the referee ahead of time and say, hey, listen, call this down the middle. You know, call it like it's real. Don't make any judgment calls. But
the refs and that's Brock Taker and Mania and Trent Seven and Pac and episode of Dynamite's 2 different things. In this case, I would rather, and I'm sure probably they would too, going back and looking at it and having that on national TV now. I would have probably just rather them count to 3. I don't know if the plan was the submission, because
it had to be. It had to have been. There was
even Pac looked confused, like, why ain't you counting?
So for the listeners who may be using us to fill you in on what happened on the show, Pac hits his Black Arrow and goes for the pin on Trent, and the ref comes down the 1, 2, and the ref stops at 3, but there was absolutely no kick out on Trent's end. So it's kind of it's kind of implied that maybe the finish was predetermined. Trent was supposed to kick out and then get put in. What's the name of the submission? Damn it, I forgot.
Ring of Saturn.
The Saturn's rings. We'll get it next time. But yeah. Pac ends up.
And that's the thing too. Trent Seven doesn't strike me as a guy they would protect enough to kick out of the Black Arrow. So, I don't know.
Hey, there's got to be a reason the ref stopped the count,
But that's the thing. If I'm the ref, I don't make myself look like that. I count 3.
Anyway, yeah, I got you now. I got you. Well, anyways, that was the finish of the match. It didn't take away from too much. It was more or less in the in the moment. You were kind of questioning what you saw. It was like, did he kick out? Did he not? I had to go back and get video footage to be like, okay, no, he didn't kick out. Because in my mind, there was still room for doubt. And that's because of the quick thinking on Pac's behalf. Because they didn't take long enough for the crowd to chime in and start saying, like, you effed up or anything like that. He literally saw, oh, he kicked out? Never mind. Rolled him over, tapped him out. Bam, done. So it was Pac's quick thinking that pulled it over on me. I didn't even realize there was a botch for sure until I went back and saw the footage afterwards. Following that, we have a contender for promo of the year, man. Oh my God, this last month, man, everybody's been delivering crazy promos. NXT, I think we've had 1 or 2 on WWE, and also here on AEW, we've been getting hella good promos. Cody Rhodes comes out to the ring. We finally get that big announcement that was teased, which ends up being that if Cody Rhodes loses his match at AEW's Full Gear because of his position as, how does he say, executive on the show, he refuses to take part in any other championship matches for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Which I thought was great. Way to really lean into the criticism you guys have been receiving, and to make it part of the story. And then not only that, to lean into it, to knock it out the park, man. I can't even, it's kind of like with the R-Truth 24/7 stuff and a couple of the other guys, I can't deliver with the same passion that Cody did. But I'll give you a couple of the anecdotes here. He uses Jericho calling him a millennial B-word to his power, and he says that you're taking advantage of impressionable young people. You need this generation more than this generation needs you. And I instantly was like jaw dropped at that, because it's like one of those things that's obvious, but you don't realize it till someone says it out loud. He gets on Jericho for claiming that Cody Rhodes has a silver spoon in his mouth, or born with a silver spoon. Jericho, however, was born with a silver spoon, being, son of a famous hockey player. He threw shade at his best-selling book, which we did confirm. I went on Amazon. He did confirm that Chris Jericho's book can be found for $3 on Amazon. Oh, goodness gracious, man. It was amazing. The passion that Cody had, talking about how the 14-year road it has taken him from being undesirable to undeniable, which is something they've been pushing, especially if you're watching AEW Dark. Jaw-dropping, man. Jaw-dropping.
Which book is $3?
Lionheart, I think it's called.
I have to look into that. That's what I get for a Chris Jericho book. $3.
Hey, man, look, you want an inexpensive Christmas gift for a wrestling fan? Bam! Chris Jericho's book. Yeah, dude.
America, we here at the Smack Raw Pod not only give you wrestling, but we help you with Christmas shopping. So
help your Christmas. Yeah, there you go. Stocking stuffer right there. Oh, man. Yo, so, I mean, I pretty much covered it, though. Like, did it strike a chord with you, man? Did it move you?
It was good. It was a very good promo.
Yeah.
But only thing now, and I'm kind of mixed, because I do like it. They're bringing this real life criticism into it, and I've been one of those guys when the match announced was like, that's kind of a bad look. But are they a way where, Cody has to win, right?
Yeah. Well, so this is, now that I've had some time to simmer on it, Cody could lose, and then later down the road, just a heel turn. and get a title match. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He easily could turn heel, give himself a title match, say, screw it. You know what I mean? I have the power.
but,
Bam.
but at that point, are you just Triple H a 40 figure?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it would be the easy way out if he loses. So I agree with you. I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate. How do you get a title shot later on down the road if you lose? You know, the easiest way would be like heel turn. It could be that someone else gets a title shot. If he is to stay face, someone else gets a title shot, but somehow they're injured or elect to give Cody in their place. Nothing really works. I mean, best case scenario, you have to follow through. Cody has to win it. You know what I mean?
A trick back in the day, I don't think it's been used in a long time. But he could have said, I won't have another title shot as long as Chris Jericho is champion. I thought that would have been
that would have been better.
A better route to go.
Yeah, but to say ever again in the history of this company is kind of, it really does kind of paint a picture. He has to win. Like I said, otherwise you got to do something convoluted to get him back in that picture, which he deserves to be in. Cody's earned it. You heard the fans, man. You heard the fans. They're not going to sit there and kiss your butt just because you're AEW. You know what I mean? The fans were wholeheartedly behind him because he addressed it. He took it right on the chin. You know, I'm an executive. My position of power could easily have me take advantage of this. You know what I mean? So if I lose, I won't ever get another title shot. Then he goes into Chris Jericho. He's like, but that's if I lose. And the crowd gets behind Cody. They rally completely behind him before he hits the big go home in his whole speech. And they're chanting out like, you deserve it. You know, and wholeheartedly, I believe he does, man. Cody's done a hell of a lot of work. WWE, I never saw him as a main eventer, but everything he's done outside of WWE in all the other promotions, he stopped in all the indie promotions and New Japan, all that stuff. Thought Cody was amazing.
He's done a really good job in the build. Like I said, I was one of those guys that when the match was announced, that kind of had an issue with it, and that was more. I mean, it had a little bit to do with Cody's power, but also just the wins losses matter. I didn't feel like he deserved it in that way at the time when Pac was undefeated and he had a draw on his record, and I think a tag team loss against the Young Bucks.
Right.
But no, he's done a great job in the build. I mean, I've enjoyed the build.
Hell yeah. Another title shot that we're leading up to is going to be between the winners of Private Party and Dark Order to take on the new AEW champs SCU and the Lucha Bros in a tag team triple threat match. So your criticism of Private Party in their last match they had against, who was it that they beat? They beat the Young Bucks. It was a spot fest. In your opinion, did they win you back? Was this a match of good storytelling and high spots, or was it still too choreographed for your liking?
No, and it wasn't too choreographed for me. And I've kind of noticed because last time, and this is weird to say because I've always been down on them, but I've noticed when Dark Order's in the ring, it's more of the storytelling.
It kind of grounded everybody.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. Who did they face before? I think it was Lucha Bros. Was it the Lucha Bros they beat in the tournament? No, it was SCU.
SCU beat them. Yeah, that was one everybody had Dark Order picked for the win.
Well, I actually didn't because of the Lucha Bro.
I'm going online consensus majority, okay?
I'm just saying, I got to defend myself. But, no, that's kind of weird for me to say because I've been kind of down on Dark Order, but the last couple of times I've seen them, I've enjoyed their matches. I feel like they've brought storytelling to their matches to the tag teams that kind of lack that at times. So, yeah, I like this match. It was fun.
Yeah, me too. Someone who caught my attention in this match was definitely Stu Grayson. Stu really took a chance. So Dark Order matches, it was kind of like Evil Uno, in my opinion. Now, granted, if I go back and rewatch the matches thoroughly, I might change my opinion. But for the matches that I saw, Evil Uno was kind of stealing the show. This one, Stu Grayson got a lot of chance to shine.
Well, he was the one that woke the crowd up against SCU too when he pretty much killed himself going over the turnbuckle with a senton.
Yeah, exactly. This one,
And
I liked he had the over the rope senton. Into him and Evil Uno, and then the rest of their druids like all posing going into commercial break. That looked awesome.
And by the way, the match you're referring to about I didn't like it was a Private Party and the Lucha Bros.
Lucha Bros, not
Yeah, I actually liked the Young Bucks match.
Who did the Young Bucks lose to in the opening round? Was
Private Party.
It was Private Party. Okay. But the Private Party also lost to Lucha Bros as well. So they literally have faced the two most flippy teams in all of AEW. Okay. Yeah, this match was great, man. There was a lot of high spots, a lot of fun spots. Mark Quinn got a ton of time to shine, along with Isaiah Cassidy. Like I said, Stu Grayson looked great too. Evil Uno took, in my opinion, a back seat, but that's fine because in the previous matches, Evil Uno stood out to me a lot. So it was nice to see everybody get time to shine. Ultimately, it was Private Party that is advancing forward, winning with the gin and juice. Gotta love that. A guy perched on the top rope. Mark Quinn jumps from the ground all the way up to the top into a Hurricanrana just for Isaiah Cassidy to hit that cutter on the way out. That is an awesome finisher. The only criticism I have, not for the finisher, is just we're going to see it get botched one day. Like that is such a meticulous move that it could go wrong so easy, and I am not looking forward to the day that it's botched into hopefully they have a plan B. Hopefully they realize that it's such a risky move that they have a plan B for a finish, because that looks like a move that's going to be super easy to botch. I know I'm complaining about something that has not happened, but I'm just calling it now on our November 6th edition of the Smack Draw podcast. We will see Gin and Juice botched, and I'm not looking forward to it. But
yeah, I mean, you got to be perfect on timing.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a good match. And definitely setting up for an awesome tag team champion match at Full Gear now between Private Party being super flippy, SCU having such an incredible tag team dynamic, and then of course the Lucha Bros being one of the top, in my opinion, top 5 tag teams on the entire planet. It's gonna tear the house down. That might be the match of the night, honestly, going into Full Gear. Coming up, you saw this segment, right? So we had Cody Rhodes' incredible promo. You tell me you saw the video package for Chris Jericho.
Yeah. I thought he was going somewhere else, but yeah, I've seen this.
Dude, this was the funniest way to have, like, I wasn't worried, but in the back of my mind, I was like, damn, Cody just may have buried Jericho. How does Jericho come out of this? And damn it, I feel like I was slapped in the face for doubting Jericho. For one, the video package started out very well done. It seemed like it was going to be a serious take. You have Chris Jericho trying to enjoy dinner. Sammy Guevara comes up. He has a couple options for the bubbly, which one he's got to pick. Guevara is talking to Jericho, and kind of Guevara's voice kind of trails off. Like Jericho is dialed into thought, right? And then, like I said, the production value, super crisp. High definition video package, and Jericho gives Guevara a kiss, and then it cuts to Guevara giving like a little one-on-one promo private thoughts on Jericho, and he's kind of like a dad figure to me. He's also, he's in the prime of his youth. He is AEW's youngest world champion at 48. And then from there, dude, the jokes just kept coming. But they weren't silly jokes. It was literally just a bunch of people. Who'd you have in there? You had Jake Hager. You had Virgil. Virgil was in there as what was his name in it? It was oh my god. Soul something. Oh my god, I didn't take it down.
Yeah.
I didn't take it down. Oh god.
Soul Jones or something.
Yeah, Soul Train Jones or something. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's Virgil though.
it.
It's
Yeah.
Virgil, man. And you had Patricia Bobsky, Chris Jericho's aunt's friends from church. Oh my gosh, man. These little backstage segments. They would cut to Hager, and Hager would just stand there intimidating, silent. After like 2 or 3 people give talking points. Like Virgil says, I don't know what a goat is, but Chris Jericho is the greatest of all time. And then he also cuts another like timeless saying. He says, oh, no, he says, I don't know what a goat is because I'm not a farmer, but I know that Chris Jericho is the greatest of all time. And then he says Chris Jericho's talent is like Olive Garden's breadsticks, unlimited. It's like he just hit some awesome lines. The Patricia portraying his aunt's friend from church gives like a really sweet segment of Chris when he's a kid. And then like later on in the video package, it cuts back to her. She's like, I just know at Full Gear, Chris Jericho's going to beat the S word out of Cody. So you have this sweet old lady drop an S-bomb, and I think the only S-bomb on tonight's Dynamite episode. And it was just, oh my gosh, man. This tickled me. I was so happy because you have 2 incredible promo segments on complete opposite sides of the spectrum, and that is what's making AEW so good. They can be super serious and give you timeless segments, and then they can lighten up and not take themselves so serious and give you just comedy gold. And it was so good. It was great, man. I'm gonna watch that. Like, I know I'm gonna show it to my wife, and I'm gonna show that segment to like so many people that even like give me a whiff that they're a wrestling fan. I'm gonna be showing that segment too.
It was funny.
It was good.
I thought you was going to Brandy Rhodes.
No. That came up after the women's tag match.
Okay.
That was cool too. Now I could see where people might criticize that. I liked it, man, and we'll get into that. But I pretty much walked us through that whole segment. What'd you think of this women's tag match? We had Shauna and Riho taking on Jamie Hayter and Amy Sakura.
I cannot get into Sakura. I've not been able to buy into her yet. But Shayna and Hayter, man, they're winning me over. This is the second time we've seen them both. Shayna last week and Hayter 2 weeks ago. She was the one attacked by Brandy in the back after her match.
Yep.
Man, they're both really good. Shayna's a little bit of all. Hayter has such a great moveset just based on her strength. She's in there throwing, especially Rio, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not very hard to throw her around.
Right.
But, man, she's vicious in there. I'm really starting to like them. And it's really good because we've talked about how their women's division has struggled.
Yeah.
So
we're starting to get some depth.
Yeah, 2 young bright spots there that we're getting introduced to a little.
Yeah, I completely agree. Although I will say that Sakura, like I agree with you, where it's hard to get behind her because when you look at her, you can see she's a talent that's nearing the end of her career, and I hate to admit, apparently she's had a legendary career over many years that I just have not witnessed, and I apologize to any of you watching the show, and if you know who she is and you're fully fledged, I've been trying to pick up through commentary. I only have so many hours in the day to study and research everybody. From what I gather, she trained Riho, which I think really came into play in the end of the match. But she has some really cool moves. She at one point she was trying to get the crowd to join in with the Queen's rock song, "Rock You," and but she had some really cool stuff in there. Hayter is going to be an awesome heel. If not, she already is. Shauna is incredibly talented and powerful. She's, you know what I mean? Like, this division is starting to flesh itself out, I think. I think I was worried that it was mainly going to be Britt Baker and Brie Peasley that we were building.
And by the way, I don't think it was ever mentioned during the show, but that was announced for Full Gear. That match right there, Britt Baker versus...
Yeah, AEW Dark. Britt Baker cut a hell of a promo on Dark, which if you haven't seen it, at least go back and watch that promo. Yeah, it was gnarly, but yeah, they're going at it at Dark. But yeah, so now we're starting to see some of the women's division's bright spots here. And, no offense to Riho. I think Riho is a great inaugural champion. But the longevity, I'm questioning. But I love her as champ right now. I do. And I'm not going to take nothing away from her. But I'm starting to see other women that I'm like, dang, you really look like you're ready for that gold.
And one little play idea, I guess, you can't really be perfect. But I kind of wish before the match, we already knew Sakura and Riho was going to have the title match at Full Gear. I kind of wish it was announced after Sakura pinned her tonight, because before tonight, I don't think Sakura has done anything.
No, she got her first win on AEW Dark. They announced that early in the match that she was winless, and she got her first video, and it wasn't even on, or her first win, excuse me, and it wasn't even on Dynamite.
So I kind of wish that was announced after this, just to give you a little more reason why she got the title.
How about that finishing segment though, man? With all those pin reversals, Sakura looked crisp. That was literally years of those two training together and everything coming out right there right at the end of the match. Like, you had everything else play out, like a bunch of people organize some stuff. That finishing segment between Riho and Sakura, that was buttery smooth, man. Oh man, so many pin reversals, roll-ups. It was insane, man. Sakura, that really impressed me though. That's where I was like, okay, I see why she's a legend now. Because that was some technical mastery. Like, I want to see her chain wrestle. That's what I want to see. I want to see that chain wrestling that she's got. It was nuts, man.
It was. I mean, it was precise, the timing, just crispness of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fantastic. I just wish they would have, like I said, announced the match
afterwards. Like, that's what earned her the title shot.
Yeah, instead of, you won your first match on Dark.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because there's a couple of the women that have got wins already, All right, well.
And speaking of that, where's Nyla Rose, man? She's lost against Riho, but she won like 3 matches before that. Now she's just not on TV.
She's probably holding off for a big heel return. Let like I said, like kind of like what I said with Awesome Kong, like wait until you have a valiant babyface title win where they overcome the odds, and then have them come in and just destroy them.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it could be that could be it for Full Gear. That could be Nyla Rose. Could be Nyla Rose comes in and squashes Riho shortly after she dispatches Sakura or something. I don't know. But speaking of other monsters in the women's division, we got a promo with Brandy Rose, man. Brandy Rose, Jesus Christ. Brandy Rhodes. Forgive me, folks. It's been a night. What did you think? You sounded kind of hesitant. We brought this up earlier.
I'm just not digging this.
You're the fuel though. You're the fuel she talked about, man. People hating on her because she's Cody Rhodes' wife.
No, not really. I'm not a fan of her being in Cody's, video package. Like, hey, we gotta get this done. I'm a businesswoman, and then all of a sudden she's drinking blood from a glass and she's doing witchcraft. I'm not a fan of that.
This was the least voodoo weird stuff though.
To be fair, she's only done 2 though.
I know, but I'm saying this one at least was a little bit more grounded. Hey, listen, one thing you can't hate on was the cinematography for this whole segment. The camera work, her poise, her cadence, and then not to mention the clips they kept throwing to Awesome Kong, making her look like something straight out of a horror movie, but not cartoonish. Like just dark and gritty, almost reminiscent of House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie directing style. It made, from a visual standpoint, it was scary, and it was very well done in my point. Now, go ahead.
I kind of wish in Chris Jericho's video now that he would have brought up like something about Cody's wife being a witchcraft. Since he was like hitting on and off.
I don't have a wife that's practicing voodoo to help me win titles or something,
That's just fair to me. Like I just don't know how that's not been intertwined yet. Like somebody's not brought that up. Like that's a obvious thing, but nobody. So I don't know.
I don't know, man. I liked it though. I liked it. So I mean, the message that she was really getting across was, to simplify it, she's been bullied for. It's kind of. Cody was bullied for being Dusty Rhodes' son, and now Brandy Rhodes is bullied for being Cody's wife. It's the whole victim of being related to fame type deal.
So maybe Cody told Brandy.
Hey man, maybe, but otherwise, that is so that is the reason for Awesome Kong being Brandy Rhodes' proxy. Like, you guys have hurt me, now I'm going to hurt you using, Awesome Kong. Because, unfortunately, Brandy Rhodes really only has about a spear. Not going to knock on her wrestling. She's not going to sniff a title because of her wrestling skill anytime soon. Okay?
And she has to drink blood to bring Awesome Kong out.
I don't know. Look, man, there's a wine bottle. I'm going to just go on it's wine, okay? Like, look.
It's voodoo. It's blood. It's supposed to be blood.
It was like last week was voodoo. This week seemed like half like drunk housewife. Just I don't know, man. She didn't seem drunk.
I would not go to bed if I was Cody. I'd be afraid I'd get burned if that was what was going on there. Oh my god! Jesus Christ.
Anyways.
Like, if you watch the Paranormal Activity movies and the wife goes crazy in the end and kills the guy, that's how I feel like Brandy's going.
Yeah, I mean, there really should be a backstage segment of Cody, like, kind of speaking to her, like, Brandy, what's going on? I'm sorry I haven't been giving you the most attention lately, but I've seen these videos.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Look, we need to talk, man. We need to talk. Anyways.
Do I need to get the dog out of here? Is the dog safe?
Pharaoh, go to your room, all right? Oh, man. All right. Following the segment, we got a match between winless Brandon Cutler taking on the chairman, Shawn Spears, with, of course, Tony Blanchard in tow. Did you have a chance? Now, granted, we have not said that we're going to cover AEW Dark, so I'm not going to be mad, but have you had a chance to catch up on Dark from last night, or the night before, rather?
No, I have spent my Tuesdays when I get a chance. I haven't been able to do it every single week. I didn't even get to do it last night, but I've been watching Impact. I've been trying to give that a chance.
Okay. Well, we closed AEW Dark. I sent you that video segment. Did you watch that at least?
I did see that.
Yeah, where they even on the show, they downplayed what happened. they on the show before the match started, they said Shawn Spears and Tony Blanchard tried to rip out Joey Janela's tongue using some pliers, which that was half the story. The other half of the story was Janela was confronted by Blanchard for putting his cigarette out in his soda. And so they held his tongue, and it's implied, because the camera had to roll away, but it was implied that they were taking Janela's cigarette out and putting it out in his mouth or down his throat. And it was disturbing. It was so intense. Like, it was something out of like a mafia movie. Like, it was torturous. It was brutal. Yeah, it was gnarly, man. If y'all you can go ahead, man. AEW Dark's on YouTube. You know, go watch that closing segment alone. But it was brutal. But anyways, yeah, this
one quick thing.
Yeah.
A little criticism here. If you're gonna do something, own it. Don't downplay it.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it was kind of like nowadays stuff with cigarette smoking is kind of taboo for network and cable television. And it wouldn't. I mean, even over on Netflix, Stranger Things got drugged through the dirt because of cigarette smoking on it. You know, I've noticed that cigarette smoking on TV, man, it's kind of it's censored. I mean, granted, I'm not a cigarette smoker, so I'm not advocating, as a smoker, but I have noticed that, yeah, like, because they could have run the whole clip, and I was trying to think about, like, why wouldn't they do it? And I feel like the cigarette may have been it.
What you're saying, but I'm not sure what came on after the show. They wasn't a rerun tonight, which was odd. They was a cigarette night, so I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm just spitballing over here, But yeah, it is weird that they downplayed a segment that took place on their YouTube channel, Dark. So not sure if it's not canon or not, but hey, anyways, that's what happened. It was weird. It wasn't weird, actually. It was badass. It was intense. But anyways, yeah, Spears went over Cutler here in quick fashion, in glorified squash match. Beat him with a running Death Valley driver. After the match finished, out came Joey Janela, obviously wanting revenge for the whole pliers thing. It would have been. Dude, I was wondering if Janela would come out with like a bloody mouth or something, but apparently no. He's okay. He must have got out off camera. I think about all this though. If anybody ever gets a tooth pulled in wrestling, I want them to do this and come out the next show with a tooth gone. But let's see what you done to me. Yeah, absolutely. Continuity, man.
Yeah. Like, if you know someone's getting a tooth pulled, just run this angle and show them with the plier in the mouth, and then that show come out without the tooth. And it's believable. Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah. So when's Brandon Cutler going to get a win? Let's call it. Early predictions, man. When's he going to get a win?
He's going to break Kurt Hawkins' record.
Oh, God, no. Because they are able to just come up with a record on WWE. His win is actually, his record's going to be kept track of. So, he's winless. His character is, he's friends of the Young Bucks. They got him into the wrestling business.
He'll win his first match in Impact. He ain't going to win a match in AEW.
You don't think so?
Go to Impact, get a win.
Man, I don't know. I think, let me see. Who could he beat? He could beat anyone with a quick roll-up. I mean, WWE proved that with Hurricane rolling up The Rock.
Don't hate on the Hurricane.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying. All right? That's the only way Hurricane beats The Rock.
He is a superhero. He's like Ricochet, just green.
I'm trying to think, man. Who's good but doesn't win? Because Cutler is obviously the loser of the show, but he's not presented as kind of a loser other than his record. He still gets an entrance. He still gets music. They still give him a chance in the ring. They approach him a little bit more seriously than they do your local enhancement talent that you find on WWE and sometimes on AEW as well. Trying to think. So you got what? You have. It's not going to be Darby Allin. Who's on Dark? Who was on Dark last night? Havoc. Maybe he beats Jimmy Havoc? Maybe?
No, I don't think it'd be Jimmy Havoc.
Maybe he beats a tag team guy who, is not good at singles matches.
He ain't gonna win a match, dude.
He's gonna win a match.
He's gonna win an Impact.
It's gonna be a show.
He's gonna win in Ring of Honor. That's nowadays.
Just throwing shade at all these promotions. I'm sorry to anybody that actually watches Impact or Ring of Honor.
Hey, I've been watching Impact. What are you talking? Ring of Honor, like they're so bad off on the commercials they show on TV. They still show the Young Bucks and Cody. That's how
really.
Yeah.
Dang, they need to update their stuff, man.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a video package. Kenny Omega. This one was pretty simple. Kenny Omega and John Moxley, little video package. Kenny Omega kind of giving a sit-down take on Moxley being upset about it being an unsanctioned match that won't count toward his record. Kenny Omega kind of addressed the obvious. He's like, what did you expect? Were we going to chain wrestle? Like, no. It was always going to be a hardcore match. They give like some highlights of their interactions with each other that they've had. Pretty standard stuff, kind of light to set us up for the main event, which ended up being Hangman Page and Kenny Omega taking on the Inner Circle, Sammy Guevara, doing his best Tyler Breeze impersonation, coming out with like the selfie cam on the phone, which was like live streaming.
By the way, his theme might be the best I've heard in AEW.
Go ahead, come again. You lagged out that time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sammy's theme song, maybe the best I've heard in AEW so far.
You like his theme song? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I'm not a big fan of a lot of them. I feel like their music has kind of been a downer, but I do like Sammy's.
I got you now. But Guevara is teaming up with Chris Jericho with Jake Hager at his side. Jericho highlighted here, undefeated AEW 5-0. Wonder if he's going to get his first loss at Full Gear. Tag match was... go ahead.
If he wins, he ain't got to worry about Cody no more.
He ain't got to worry about Cody, no. I wonder who would be next. Can't do Pac. You're not going to do heel. Can't do Hangman. Hangman's already lost.
Pac's a bastard, dude. He'll do what he wants.
Just booking.
He'll go kick Jericho in the balls.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Pac ended up making his presence known along with Hager throughout the match. Came out, got one between the legs of Hangman Page.
Right as he was going for the butt shot. He gave Adam his own butt shot. Shot him in his butt.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, the whole match was thrown into chaos. Afterwards, though, is when the real story happened. We got a huge brawl taking place. I loved it, man. You had, everybody in this. Pac came out, Moxley came out, MJF, Hager was getting in it, the Young Bucks, Pride and Powerful. Everybody was fighting. At one point, Matt Jackson jumps off the set onto everybody. It was just chaos. And I loved that the show, as it was going off the air with the brawl, instead of going off the air just as everybody separated and was standing their grounds, they gave us an extra 15 seconds of the Young Bucks running forward and then Hager jumping in and then just the brawl reigniting itself. And the crowd was eating it up, man. This is when I was super jealous. I was like, man, this is 3 hours away. I could have been there had I just managed my money better. I'm so stupid. But, oh no, man. It was hype, man. GoHome Show. First GoHome Show that AEW has hosted for a pay-per-view. And damn it if they didn't slam it out the park, man. It was really good. It
was. I did like the brawl. The only issue is I feel like I've seen it before. I think this is the 6th show, and I think they've closed the show with big brawls 4 times now.
Yeah.
So that was my only. But I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was chaotic. I assume MJF and Hager's going to have a match at Full Gear since they was the only ones out there without a match.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be added.
I gotta say, like, I love that AEW seems to be.
And now I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's not only they closed 4 times with it, but they also had that one in the control area, the concession area. So they've had a brawl on pretty much every show they've had.
Yeah, but I mean, now granted, earlier in the night when Cody Rhodes' whole promo was after this whole title picture is taken care of, we're gearing it up for the Elite taking on the Inner Circle. So I think the title, no matter what happens, is going to take a back seat after Full Gear, and we're going to get a big faction versus faction feud. Leading into the next pay-per-view.
I did see they have the Match Beyond trademark. So I don't know if that's going to be their alternative to War Games. I'm not
Maybe.
Sure. So.
Yeah, because Cody did say that he was going after War Games, but WWE's not going to let that go. They're not going to give that back. So he'll probably have to create his own thing, unfortunately. I really wish there had been a way for Cody to get a hold of his dad's intellectual property of War Games. But business is business. Business doesn't see people; it sees dollars.
I don't know. I am living this build for the War Games match.
Yeah,
that's where it's at right now.
Like I said, yeah. When I get off the air here, I am gonna go watch NXT. I'm really excited to see what's going down over there.
I'll probably be watching tomorrow. I have to go to.
I probably should too, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anyways, one thing I'm really liking about AEW, Sebastian, is that they don't seem to be taking themselves too seriously. They do serious the tone up from time to time to incite passion, but then they know how to relax, give you the easy stuff, give you simple stuff, easy to digest stuff. I gotta say, AEW is, I'm not gonna call it the best 2 hours of wrestling every week, but probably some of the easiest to watch. I don't know how to put it much more than that. Raw is a struggle to get through a whole episode of Raw. 3 hours is always gonna be tough. SmackDown is very hit and miss. NXT is very consistent. NXT is huge. NXT might be the best 2 hours of wrestling, but I think it is a toss-up between it and AEW on any given week, man. I really do think those two shows are vying for the number one spot, man.
I'm really interested to see what the ratings show tomorrow.
You think the Survivor Series stuff might boost NXT's ratings this week?
You gotta think it will be, and then people just tuning in to see who shows up from the main roster.
Yeah, I bet they do get a little bit of a boost. I am interested. Honestly, though, to me, it's not about the ratings war. I think it's just, for me, it is. I am that classic. I'm just happy everyone's having fun, fan. I'm just happy, man. We're getting some good damn wrestling every week.
AEW is the new show on the block. They're gonna win the ratings probably for a couple months. They're 5-0 as far as that goes. But to me, they've only won 2 weeks as a show. Right now, it's 3-2 favoring NXT for me before this week. So, yeah, I don't pay attention to ratings that much. I just want to see what effect the Survivor Series stuff has.
Yeah. I really want AEW to thrive, though. I want them to thrive so bad. These guys are proven they are talented. These are not second-rate stars. You know what I mean? Cody Rhodes hit it on the head with, this is the Ellis Isle of pro wrestling. This is freedom. We're getting much looser, less corporate structure to the program we're watching, and I think it translates well. And so I thoroughly am behind AEW. I love all wrestling. I don't take sides. You guys will catch me on Twitter and other stuff too, going nuts over NXT and SmackDown, Raw even in there as well, But it's AEW, I want to thrive. I want them to have a piece of the market that, like a security blanket. I definitely don't want them to go away by no means.
I want to see too. right now, and this ain't a knock. I've still enjoyed the show. I've been on here every week, and I'm not saying they've had a bad show. I think the worst grade I've ever gave them was a B minus.
Where was tonight's for you? Where was tonight, man? As a go-home show for Full Gear.
Probably a B.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like I said, it just felt. And like I said, every single week we've had this brawl. I feel like while NXT is getting all this new stuff with the main roster and all this, AEW is kind of throwing the same things out there every week.
But we're getting fleshed out, impassioned promos. We got an incredible promo from Moxley, incredible promo from
That's really been
Cody.
The last couple of weeks. Before the last couple of weeks, we haven't got hardly any promos.
We got a great video pack. They're taking your criticism, Sebastian, and they're throwing it out there, man.
No, you're right, man. I'm just saying that.
What would have tipped it? Okay, book it, Mister. What would have tipped it to an A? What would have tipped it to an A?
I don't think it's possible for me to say they had this perfect show, and that's because I don't know a lot of these characters, like the women, for example.
Yeah, they just need time to develop, huh?
With NXT, we know who these guys are. We know their story arcs. We know this and that.
There's a much larger foundation laid.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a knock against AEW personally. It's just as a
you can't really come into this with a world-renowned foundation. You have to build.
Yeah, if you're watching just for, this is something new, then yeah, that's probably an A. But for me, a guy that wants to get invested in characters and storylines and all this and that, and pays attention to little details, like I said, I wish Sakura's match would have been announced after she pinned Rio. Guys that pay attention to that, it's hard for me to say, yeah, this was a perfect show.
No, I got you. No, I get where you're coming from now. But
now I understand there's some people that will give it an A, and that's mostly people that's, completely sick of WWE and just glad something's new. And I get that. I'm just not one of those people. That's not why I watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably give him a B plus or an A minus for this show. Because I really didn't have any heavy criticism of it.
Oh, and the rest spot.
Yeah, but botches are going to happen. And from what I gathered, I didn't see it, but from what I gathered, NXT had a real stinker.
And I will absolutely shit on that too.
We almost got through a whole show. Thanks, Seb. Almost got through a whole show.
2 weeks in a row, I've made it to the end.
Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us. Make sure to tune in. Also later today, if not before you watch this, check out our NXT recap over there with Vince and co. And then also Saturdays when we cover SmackDown, along with Sunday, we'll have our coverage of Full Gear. Some point this week, we'll try to get a predictions video up. I just dawned on me, I think yesterday, that Vince isn't doing the prediction episode because he doesn't watch AEW. So we'll have to figure out when we'll get a predictions episode up as well. Well, we'll do it. Until next time, though, man, thank you guys for listening so much. Hit us up on Twitter at SmackDrawPod. Make sure you like and subscribe to whatever platform you're watching on, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.